we'll take it, but feels like we stole one. But similar to Chicago the other night, we played well enough in the fourth to get back in it and guarded well enough to take the lead there. But surprised he took that down too. He's a downhill attack guy, and even with that, Durant had a tip that he kind of bobbled, so we got a little bit lucky there.
What about Jabari's defense? Would you say defensively from him, especially in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, it was great. He was on multiple guys, and put him on Thompson, and we put him on Stewart and some of those guys, and he really made plays and used his length to help off of guys, and then we got to get in there and finish with some rebounds. They had some tough bounces that went long, but he was great. He showed his versatility tonight.
Why has it been a struggle defensively in the first three quarters of the last couple of games?
It just seems like we're following teams around too much to start, and they're getting too comfortable. For instance, Burks tonight, he's a guy that's obviously going to take on the scoring load with Bogdanovich and some guys out, and his first two shots that he made were catch and shoot threes. We know he's a guy that is a rhythm guy. We want to make him put it down and be uncomfortable, and so things like that get teams going, get guys confidence, and it just feels like we're being a little bit too reactive to start instead of the hungry defensive team that we were early in the season, and kind of putting teams back on their heels. And it's a bad trend that we obviously need to change.
Is it too simplistic to say you haven't had Dylan or Tari the last couple of games? Is that an excuse for why the defense has fallen off a little bit?
I mean, there are two of our better guys that have tremendous versatility and defensive acumen, and so you're going to obviously miss some there with those guys out, but guys have stepped up all throughout the season, and we've, even when we haven't played well enough, we've been in games and had chances to win. So if you show you can guard in the fourth quarters like we did against Chicago and tonight, you just got to bring that from the start, and so no real excuse there. I think we have enough depth and talent on that side of the ball to be better than we have been.
What have you learned about this team when it comes to performing in really clutch games?
Yeah, we're up and down a little bit, but it feels like we put ourselves in that position a lot, for good or bad, by not playing up to our level first three quarters, but then fourth quarter we can kind of buckle down when we need to. And so, the thing I've said about our team is very competitive, and the effort is always there. And so we're in a lot of close games. Even when we are at a deficit, we can always kind of claw our way back into it. And so we've seen that throughout the season, and I guess a testament that we're not getting blown out or anything. We've had our fair share of blowout wins, but we can grind out wins and figure out different ways to get it done.
What happened with Jeff?
He got need a knee. So he was good to come back in, and then when he sat for a little bit, it swelled up, and he was unavailable after that.
Does tomorrow feel like a different type of game for you?
No, not really. Not quite, to be honest. I look at one at a time, and was not thinking ahead of Detroit at all tonight. And for me, it's, you go back to somewhere he had some success, but overall, I'd say I'm not too sentimental of a person and won't get caught up in anything like that.
Are you worried at all about fatigue, just having to play an overtime game and then having to, fight really hard in all the other games this road trip?
Yeah, I mean, we ran guys longer in that, second half, especially Fred. He didn't come out at all, and so obviously on the night where you expend all that energy and you got a back-to-back coming up, it's part of it. But at that point, you have to rely on other guys and, hopefully get some guys back to help out there. But, yeah, it's a part of it, but everybody goes through it in the NBA. Boston just had an overtime game and didn't bounce back well against Milwaukee last night. So it is what it is. Everybody has to face it, and that's why you have depth and guys that you trust.
What do you think of Reggie's minutes?
I think he was great. I think he was solid. And it's not always going to show on the stat sheet. I think only 3 points, the one three-pointer there, 1 for 3. But he was very solid when we needed it. It felt like we were a little bit out of sorts late in the first quarter and early in the second. We had a bunch of young guys out there that, were kind of making a few mistakes and wanted to be more solid with some veterans, and I think he stabilized us.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.